performing outside the exam. While there's lots of good advice to how to perform in an exam, what you do outside is clearly going to make a big difference to what you can achieve in those few hours. Now, while effective revision is important, such as making sure it's active revision and not passive, focusing on weak areas and spending enough time on it, that isn't what this video is about. This is about being in the right headspace so when you're sitting your exams, you can focus and perform at your best. So here are my top 5 tips. And while I say this as an A-level psychology teacher, this advice is good for all of your subjects. 1. Look forwards, not back. So you leave the exam and what's the first thing that you and your friends do? You stand around and you talk about the questions and how you responded to them. Or you hit Twitter and you try and find out what the answers were. Don't do this. It's not going to improve your grade at all. After the exam is the exact moment when you can't do anything to change what just happened. Also, just because your friends wrote something different doesn't mean you were wrong. Often questions have multiple correct answers, and often they're misinterpreted by lots of students. So talking to your friends about the exam can put you in a negative frame of mind for the exams to come. What you should do, if your friends want to talk about the exam, is as soon as you leave the hall, tell them you're going to revise for your next exam. Put in your headphones and go do a few hours of revision on the next paper you need to sit, just to get your head out of the last one. Anything else is just procrastination. 2. Keep a positive mental attitude. How much you're in the zone during the exam has a lot to do with the mental state you're in before you even walk in. And that, of course, is going to have an impact on your grades. When you think of runners before an Olympic final, they're not running around flapping, telling everyone who will listen how nervous they are. They're calm and focused, maybe even a little excited, despite the fact that they've been training for their entire lives this moment. So what can you do to be like this? Well, your brain and body are highly susceptible to suggestion. If you're feeling anxious, tell yourself that you're excited. You're excited to show off after all that hard work. Doing this will activate a challenge response to stress. Avoid anxious people completely. They might be your friend, but this is your moment. You owe it to yourself to be in the best mindset possible, and they're far more likely to bring you down than you are to bring them up. If someone you care about is feeling anxious, take them to a teacher. Then go somewhere else to focus on yourself. In the last 10 minutes before the exam, stop looking over content. At this point, you know it or you don't. Now's the time to allow yourself to feel calm, focused and positive. Get on your headphones and crank up the music. That puts you in a good place. Maybe do some visualization exercise of answering the questions correctly. And if you're feeling adventurous, power pose. This is where your mind takes cues from your own body language. So make sure your body language is open and confident, not withdrawn. Google power poses to see the work of Amy Cuddy. Really good stuff. 3. Don't go through the motions. So imagine right now and during the rest of the next few weeks, you're going to be pushing yourself pretty hard. That's understandable. You want to be as ready as possible. But do be aware of burnout. The last thing you want to be doing is thinking that you've been working for hours, but in reality you've been half checking your phone, half reading some old notes, and occasionally looking in on Facebook. Maybe you're mentally shattered and you just can't focus anymore. This can happen if you don't take breaks. And you can only focus for so long before you get distracted. This is why classes in school are not 5 hours long. And that's when you've got someone else in the room who's paid to keep you on task. My advice is to use a kitchen timer. Decide how long you want to work and then set it. When it goes off, have your break, but time that too. Also, even take half days off during the examination period if you need them. But make sure it's proper relaxation. Go on a walk and give yourself time to process what you've been revising. 4. Diet, sleep and exercise. You know this, so I'm not going to go into why these things are important. The problem is the temptation is so great to let these slide. And it is really going to hurt your results more than a little bit less revision. 8 hours of sleep, get into the pattern a few days before your exam, and if you get to bed and you can't sleep, tell yourself it's fine. I'm just going to do some meditation in bed and let my mind rest. And then you'll be asleep before you know it. As for food, in uni before my exams, my tradition was always oats in the morning for slow release and a massive, really tasty smoothie before the exams. So you got the slow release from the carbs and a slight sugar and happiness boost from this movie. 5. Thinking about the process and not the outcome. If you spend your time around the exams thinking about what will happen if you don't get the results that you want, then that's just going to make that outcome more likely. You need to catch that thought and then refocus. Ask yourself what's the next thing you can do that's going to get you one step closer to improving your grades, and then put it into practice. Finally, if you're really feeling the stress of all this, talk to your parents and teachers, and keep in your mind that even though these exams are important, your health is far more important. Psych Boost is supported by students on Patreon. To help Psych Boost in creating free educational content and get access to video scripts, follow the link. I hope that student skills video is useful. Don't forget I've got content videos for all 3 papers and a website with lots of free resources. Thanks for watching.